Okay, we'll go ahead and bring the Board of Works meeting to order. We've both given a chance to review the minutes from the previous meeting held on August 22nd.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve as emailed.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. All right, we do have a bid opening. First, we need to make a matter of record that the notice to bidders was published correctly.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Same sign. Okay. This is a bid, these are bids, there's only one bid for renovation of 138 North 2nd Street, which will end up being Adams County Economic Development.
Limberlost?
Yep. So Limberlost Construction is the sole bidder on the project, and
Do you remember what the engineer's estimate was, Colton?
Well, the estimate that we have is like $523,000,
Okay.
but that was March of 23, so
Right.
it's been a while.
financial bid bond, state form. All right, so they are a responsive and responsible bidder. Their base bid is submitted at $504,721. And then they have an alternate number 1 for an additional $46,227.
What was that number? 46?
So the base bid is $504,721, and the alternate number 1 is an additional $46,227. And the alternate number 1 references all work related to and associated with the back area portion of the building, which is represented on the drawings. It says that that alternate doesn't include door removal and infill that separates main building from the back area, as that was contemplated. That scope of work is part of the base bid. So, and then it would be completed within 180 days. So.
Okay.
The board has the ability to take the bid under advisement and or accept the bid as presented, but if you want to give an opportunity for Colton to take a look at it under advisement, then.
That's fine by me. If you want us to take that under advisement, we can come back in a couple weeks and give a recommendation.
Because you're going to be here the next meeting anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, he would be at the, he'd definitely be at council, but this would be back at Board of Works.
Yep.
Okay.
You've discussed it all with him though, right?
Yeah, but just to kind of look through it, you can let our architect look through it to make sure that everything matches what was in the bid.
Then I'll make a motion that we take it to advisement. Colton, Bickle?
Second.
Okay, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
I don't know if we want to make a copy of that before we send it out the door.
Yeah, perfect. Jackie's gonna be up here. Who's not gonna be on here? Who's not gonna be on here in the Board of Works?
Kurt
Kurt is. Aaron, do you mind making copies of these, just so we keep them on hand? We'll get copies and then we'll give you this packet. Thank you. What's that? Just one copy of everything in there. Okay. Next, Chris is here. You want to come up? Yes. What that's on. Looks like it might be. They are going to be asking to accept application, open up the application process.
Yes, an officer resigned last Friday, and we have an opening again. Like, asked permission to take applications, and this is a process that's so lengthy, it'll take us several months to get someone hired.
I'll make a motion to move forward with the process.
Copy of the letter, yes. Copy of the letter. Jack Nunes.
Oh, is that the copy of his resignation?
Yes.
I saw it on the email. I'll second that.
Okay, motion second to open up the hiring process.
Yes.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign.
And do they have to accept the resignation too as a motion, or no?
Jag.
I think we usually make a matter of record, don't we? Yeah.
The resignation.
the resignation itself, and then
Make a motion to make the resignation of Officer Jag Nunes a matter of record.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign.
is that effective
It's now
Effective.
September 2nd?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's gonna, part of this contract, he's gonna owe some money back, so.
We'll have
It was
to
like
calculate.
$2,050.20.
You know the number?
I guess 2,050.
Because I think there was some grace given that he was reinstated as if time had not passed, and so his initial hiring.
He was for the $2,000 bonus he got, and then the $250, I think it's $250.25 is for some training he requested to be paid for. He turned his uniforms and stuff in, and we found we both proof vest for $1,200. We got that back, but yeah.
Yeah. And then you have something on for the council, but not Board of Works, right? Okay, all right, thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Jag Nunes, Jagggnunez.
Okay.
Thank you. So we'll maintain your.
I think so.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Kurt, you want to come up?
He gave me copies of this today. It looks like a smart plan, pretty smart plan. Agree with all that? Okay. Standard operating procedure.
Yeah, you're going to get double.
I already got it.
That'll be the last one we'll go over. Alright, so in order to help run a little bit more efficiently in our department, we're starting to do standard operating procedures to keep track of things, on how we do things, what order, yada, yada, yada. The first two that I have here have actually been from the Board of Works. One is the contractor registration that's been approved by the Board of Works. I just want to get the standard operating procedure basically recorded. That's what we're starting to do. So the first one for contractor registration, like I said, it's already been approved by the Board of Works.
I just wanted to get it on record that we have it in that format. The second document I have in here is for code enforcement, which is basically just our standard operating procedure on how we do code enforcement, what it's based on. A majority of this pack is just a description of how we're doing things. It's definitions right out of our
It essentially summarizes what's already in our code and how we do things, but it just clarifies and summarizes for your department on how to apply it.
Correct. And the last group of pages on here are just copies of our abatement orders.
Okay.
So it just shows what type of, how the orders go out, depending on where they're at in the process.
Okay.
So you're not making, just to clarify, you're not making any substantive changes
No.
on how code enforcement functions.
Correct.
This is simply a departmental resource for you to rely on with your staff on how to apply the code.
Correct. And if anyone were to ask for that documentation, now I have it.
Okay.
All I have to do is pull it up, print it off, and there you go.
Should we just make this a matter of
Yeah, that you approve it. Entertain a motion, and I would do them individually. So you have the standard operating procedure for the contractor registration, and that you could entertain a motion to that standard operating procedure.
So moved.
Second. Okay, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I'd like to make a motion for the standard operating procedure for code enforcement, which includes all those listed below: accumulation of rubbish, auto parts, dangerous buildings, dangerous trees, stacks, and the like, dilapidated buildings, dwelling, unfit for human habilitation, junk, scrap, metal, motor vehicles, etc. Is that right? Okay. And then also the notice of the hearings that is outlined with yellow. I'd like to make a motion to approve that.
Yeah, that's just, how
Those
the
are all
code
their
enforcement all
forms.
works, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
And we want to
The
go
next document I have is an actual demolition order. Up until this point, anytime we've received a demolition order from the Board of Works,
Right.
it hasn't actually been put on paper, other than the fact it might have been typed up in meeting minutes, and it's been recorded. This demolition order here will actually require Board of Works to sign off, and that would require Mr. Koshaw's signature, Mr. Fullenkamp's signature, the mayor's signature, and then Ms. Ann would actually notarize it. And then when we get that demolition order, a copy of this will be posted on the home. Also in here, that we're going to implement into our demolition process, we have included a $450 processing expense, which is new. We've never done that before. Anytime we've torn something down in the past, it's always been transfer station fees. We're trying to recoup.
I understand. In order for us to change essentially the fine schedule or the fee schedule for it, that is a change in our code of ordinances. And
We
so,
don't have a set fee anywhere.
well, it would be a new ordinance. So this needs to be incorporated through codification, through addition to our code of ordinances. So I'm not sure that it's appropriate to approve as presented at this point, and it would be subject to adoption of an ordinance introducing this fine. So that is going to require, an ordinance, and because it covers fines and fees, it's definitely a two-step process, including a public hearing.
I just wanted to get it in front of the board.
Okay.
Because it's been sitting on my desk for a couple months.
I agree it needs to be done, but $450, is there any way to put in there time and, what,
Jeremy, you want to elaborate on this
like,
as far as time?
and use of equipment? I mean, if we're gonna put a,
It all depends on how you draft the ordinance. When we do the flood buyout homes, it's stated in there that we use the FEMA rates. which is not enough, but it's something. For an example, you're using a skid loader or a mini excavator for about $45 an hour, but it's something.
Well, yeah, I think it needs to be.
Without establishing, and Ann would have to go back and look to see how we could do that, without digging into it and establishing a better rate or whatever, we just have to go off that FEMA rate.
Well, I mean,
Where you make up for it is the trucks and the labor and stuff like that. You know, you have a couple guys down there doing physical labor and stuff. Flood buyouts, you know, we were in the 4,000 range up to 500 to where a lot of these, you know, what are we, 3,000-4,000. It helps.
well, yeah, $450 doesn't even get the skid loader on the site, let alone all the guys' labor. And you might as well stick it on as a lien when you're doing it, because you don't want someone getting a house torn down and then getting a piece of property back for nothing.
And we go through right about a gallon per hour.
Well, I watched us replace a track one time. It was $1,800 for one of the FEMA ones. So,
but we always had to jump on the FEMA rates for the flood buyouts just to protect our share, our portion in the match is how we got that up high enough by using it.
So you guys can technically set the rates.
So is this 450 plus
Plus
the transfer station?
So the 450 is kind of maybe a lowball average of what it costs to have the fuel and the skid loader and the time and the labor contemplated in. Okay.
So we're not making a motion on this.
It's essentially been introduced to the Board of Works. You'll table approval of the demolition order pending adoption of an ordinance by council that establishes the new fee for the demolition to be assessed to the homeowner.
I just think we need to, I don't know, we need to come up with a fee, or Kurt needs to come up with a fee, but I think $450 is too cheap. I don't know if you have a fee per equipment, or if it's a
formula.
or an hourly fee of 2 guys in a truck. I don't know, but I think it needs to be higher than that. Something that, you know,
You guys dump truck and me.
Most of what's being taken down Jeremy's doing anyway.
I think a $450 fee should be your processing fee for the paperwork. I don't know, it's not even tear down fee in today's.
Or the point to get to a
Right.
demolition order.
Yeah, I agree.
So I can sit down with Jeremy, we can crunch some numbers and see what he feels comfortable with. Let me pull the FEMA folder and then I'll scan that stuff and send it to you, just to have an idea what the rates are. Like I said,
When's the last time we
rates
did
are
a
even
FEMA?
still low on the FEMA rates.
That's what I was thinking. When's the last time we did a FEMA teardown?
That process is
Flood
done.
buyouts.
Which was 2 years ago?
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
At least.
They adjust those annually.
Oh, okay, so they've got an up-to-date? Oh, okay. Whatever you guys feel
I'd have
comfortable.
to dig to find that one. The one I would have on file is probably 4 or 5 years old or up to the last couple of years.
We can get you started.
Right. And we could just list it as whatever equipment and personnel is used and go off of those rates. If, I mean, that's how the ordinance would be written.
Yeah, instead of
That's
right
what
now,
he's
every
talking about
price
now,
of
but
everything.
that's not gonna
Right.
happen right now.
Because when we got into the buyouts, it's whatever we took down there. I had stuff out of the fire department. I had stuff from here and stuff from there. So everything that went there on that property was minimum an hour.
And then,
And then it was listed in there, whether it was a generator, whether it was a pickup truck, whatever it was.
so the garages and stuff that we've taken down the last couple of years, all we've billed for is transfer station, right?
Which most of them
But some of those have been contracted
they paid us, right?
individually with the owners, but that's different than a demolition order.
Well, yeah, that's different than the demolition order.
Right.
But I feel that by going this route with the demolition order, where I have to come in front of you and say, this thing's falling down, I gotta do something. I wanna cross this with the other application that we work with the actual people to tear the house down. I think we need that fee. We need something.
That's one thing, but within the demolition order, having a formula that assesses that is separate and distinct from entering into a freely negotiated contract with the homeowner about the price that the city is willing to accept for doing the demolition work. So if you use the same formula and come up, that's fine, but those are...
Yeah, my intentions are to have both applications the same.
Okay.
I'll send it over to you in the next day or so.
Okay. Okay, we'll wait on that and the corrected ordinance. And you have one more, it looks like? Two more.
The next one, I'm introducing this to you as well. Quite often we get emails and phone calls asking for public records of some sort, permits that have been issued on this property, any liens, anything we have, inspection reports. What this does, this is a form we'd like to introduce that you would actually have to fill out and list exactly on here what you want. A lot of times they leave us guessing, they'll send us emails, you need everything you have on this house, or everything you have on this building. This would force somebody to actually fill this paperwork out and send it in. However, after talking with Ann, this is geared solely for the building and zoning department. Talked with Ann, and we started to think maybe we need this as a citywide document for all departments.
You want a fee for this one too, or?
That I'm going to leave up to you. I don't have any fees in here. There's nothing in here that says anything about copies. I do not let anything walk out of my office.
We don't have to make copies, I mean, they can come just look at it.
If they want to see our records, they can come to my office, sit at the table, and we'll pull whatever they want. Depending on what it is, they might be able to take a picture on their phone of what we have. If it's a floor plan, absolutely not. If it's a contract that shows pricing, we won't let them walk further with that. It just depends on what it is.
Right. And it would be nice to clarify sometimes when people are asking for public records, and there might be a certain instance, and they say, we want all records on this. What's all records? I mean, phone calls, emails, all. I mean, it'd be nice if they have to detail what they're asking for.
Right, yeah, all the way across the board.
Right. We want it detailed every record they're looking for.
Do other cities charge for that, or not?
Some do.
There are permissible fees that can be charged for copies and formats for different records that are produced, but they're statutorily set, so that's not, or there's at least maximum
Right.
fees that can be charged. So I would need to verify what those are just to make sure we're not exceeding those or asking for more than what we're statutorily allowed to. And if Board of Works wants to consider this, like I'm all in favor for having an application. If someone sends an email or stops in or does a phone call, if they're stopping in, they can fill out the application right there, take it with them, and bring it back. If you get an email from someone requesting it, you at least need to acknowledge, like, we understand you're requesting records. Here's our form. Provide this, submit it back, and we'll, get back with you within a reasonable time period with the information you're requesting or when you can access it. But I would like an opportunity to maybe work with code enforcement to refine the form that's presented.
No, I think it's a good idea. I guess
What do?
keeps it clean.
That it gives us a paper trail in case we need it later.
Okay, so we'll wait on that one too then. And we'll work with Kurt.
Okay.
Good. All right, then the last thing I have, Jeff, you might want to. We've actually been doing this for about 2 years, just to help us out in keeping track on these commercial buildings. Every commercial building, depending on what it's being used for, is assigned. It's assigned a classification according to the code. Like this building here would be, say, professional building or mayor's building. It's classified as a B occupancy for business. You go over here to Two Brothers, and they're going to be an A2 for assembly. Covers taverns, restaurants, bars. With each one of those classifications, they have to meet different types of codes. What we keep running into is I got people coming in leasing buildings from people, and we don't know anything about it until 2 or 3 months later. Tony has to go in and do a fire inspection, and he realizes, well, this used to be mercantile. You used to sell goods in here, and now you've got a bar and you're serving food and everything else. That changes the occupancy classification of the building, which one, you got to get permission from the state to do that. You can't just go in and occupy a building. 2, you have to get a certificate of occupancy for that building in order to be in it and use it what you want. And before you can even get that, we have to go in and inspect the building to make sure it's up to code for what you're using it for. Because what we're running into is Tony or myself or Brad, we're going in these buildings like, okay, you've been here 3 months, it's the first time we've been in here. You gotta change that door swing, put panic hardware on it, swing it out. You need fire extinguishers over here. You need smokes over here. Now they're $5,000 later, and they're mad because they didn't know. Basically, what we're after is a business registration program, which a lot of municipalities have. It's free. We just need them to fill out the paperwork. And on this form here, it basically says what the business name is, who the owner-occupant is, which it's leased, it's just going to be occupant. Business address, email, gives the business occupancy classification. Is it a B? Is it an A2? Is it a I for institutional? It gives a description of what the business is, what it's zoned, and then it actually property owner's address, phone numbers, and emails. If there's a fire, they have direct access to this. They can actually call the owner of the building and hey, building's on fire. And then down here in the notes, we go through and we make a list of what's going on with that building. And every time it changes hands, then we update the top and we keep adding to this list, and it goes on and on and on and on. So this way we can tell anybody who's interested what this building's been used for in the past and what it's being used for now.
How do we control, a new tenant into a building to come and register what they're doing?
That's a fight.
Right.
I mean, the only thing we can do is advertise on our website, word of mouth, that's it.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, we've walked in with the place down on the corner.
It's the smoke shop.
The smoke shop used to be the castle. We were in there 3 months, and Tony went in there, and they had exits blocked. They didn't have any signs up. I mean, like $3,000 or $4,000 later, this lady was hot. Was it the place that was doing the solar panels? They were there 6 months, and we didn't know it.
Right.
We stumbled across it.
Some of the good things, the bakery over here, they called us ahead of time. Birches.
Yeah, used to be DC Fitness out here. We went through there.
They called ahead of time, so he knew what he needed to do. He was
the ones that call ahead of time are grateful because they know what they need to do, and it's not costing them extra money. They get to the point, and it's a lot cheaper in the long run.
Right.
Long Bottoms over here, they called in, and they ended up totally changing their market plan on that building. What they wanted to do and what they're actually doing now is two different things.
Right.
Because they just got to the point they couldn't afford to do what needed to be done.
Yeah, and that happened to that lady next door to him, too.
Yeah.
All right.
Basically, this is what I'm introducing. I mean, if you want to talk about it more later, like I said, anytime we get a chance to go to a new establishment, I'm taking this with me and I have it fill it out. And that's all it boils down to. There's no charges or anything. We just want the information.
Right.
But if you get them to call,
It makes it safer for everybody.
right,
I
it
mean,
does.
the tenants, but also the fire department, they know what they're getting into. Do we need to prove this as is? Do we need to put more? Does it have to be an ordinance to say that we're...
I was going to say, it's really the establishment of an entirely new segment to building and planning by the creation of a business registration database. I mean, the board has the ability to take it under advisement, to table it for tonight, think about it for a little bit, come back, ask additional questions. You can approve it.
Have you looked at other ones to see, what people are requiring on these?
Actually, some municipalities require a business permit. You have to physically fill out an application for a business permit, and then there's a fee associated with that. Some are just collecting data like we are. Just depends on how we want to go with it.
Right now, you got this set up as a voluntary business information card, right?
Just information,
Sort of
right?
voluntary. It's more like here, I need you to fill this out.
It would be best if it was codified and approved by council that this is an operation as a city building and planning department in conjunction with city fire marshal and city fire department, because it really has to do with public safety and how the buildings are utilized and function. And then you have something to reference and rely upon when you're telling these individuals that they need to do it. But the problem then comes with what happens when they say, I don't have to do that.
Well, theoretically, the code does say you are not allowed to occupy a building unless you have a certificate of occupancy. So that's a state law, the state building code. So technically, I can condemn the building if they move into it by state law.
Okay.
I don't want to do that. I never want to condemn a building.
No, I just think the enforcement end of it and making sure we have a means of, like if this is something that is of value to the two of you and allows your departments to function more efficiently, and for you guys to be able, if you get a call, to know what you're walking into in terms of different hazards or different concerns. But there probably needs to be something then more than just it being in the minutes of the Board of Works meeting. It likely needs to be, it would, my recommendation would be, again, to have it as an ordinance and made a part of at least the zoning chapters and the building and planning portion of the code.
Help me with that?
Yep.
Okay.
So at this time, we're going to take it under advisement. We'll bring it back in the future.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for doing all the work on the back end of this, Kurt. Carrie? Yeah, I think firemen do want to know if they go into a place if they're making cookies or they're making ammo.
Oh, yeah, it does.
I have a request this evening to hire a student from the Belmont ICE program. I was contacted by 2 students, one of them came out, so I think it will be a good fit. They are available, generally I think it's 3 hours. After school they usually leave us at 12. The student can't leave until 1, so it would just be from 1 to 3 every day. But the ultimate goal for the student is to be a plumber. He realizes we don't do a ton of plumbing, but they're still willing to come out to the plant and at least take on whatever we can try to do.
There's a lot of cities that are doing this, especially in the utilities, trying to recruit.
It's about the best way you have to recruit.
Yeah, I think so.
Start them young.
I wish we could have a few of them, in the water and sewer.
I'll take a few too.
There were 2 of them that contacted me, and I was uncertain about having 2, so I kind of told the other one, well, I'm going to ask for this one because he was the first one. The second one may be working for the sewer district.
From my experience, 2 is tough. 1 is probably a good start.
Yeah.
I've done 2. It's just tricky, especially because you only got them for 2 hours. But it is a great way to get them started, though.
He seemed very excited to start because he's emailing me multiple times. How soon, if the board approves it tonight, can I start on Wednesday? Like, oh, you guys still have to drug test. So, but that's at least exciting for me that they're ready to get started.
I know you and I talk, but do we have a wage number that we can pay?
Wendy gave me a maximum amount. I was going to offer him, or I told him $16 an hour because the last time I had an ICE student that was interested, that was the rate that we had talked about, which is below the maximum that Wendy had informed me of.
What do the high school kids make during the summer? Is it close to that somewhere? Do you know, Kevin?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't think they make that much.
I think they got a bump this, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
How are you going to pay for it, I guess, or does it just going to, it's just 2 hours a day. I was in 32 months ago.
Seems to be alarmed. Kevin doesn't seem to be alarmed.
It's about the going rate.
Well, and that's what it was a couple of years ago. I had asked the ICE teacher, I think, what's the going rate and how do you guys going to do this? And he said generally no one makes under $14 an hour. And I think more even pays 15, so. The guys at the plant are very excited, especially when we start cleaning aeration tanks.
Does he know this?
He doesn't know yet. It was mentioned, but I don't think he understands.
I'll make a motion for to go ahead and hire a ICE student.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, we do have. Next, Dan will talk about this, but there's some abandoned railroad that runs from Elm to Winchester Street that Mark Berry's been working on with the railroad for a couple years now, I think. So we have the right to accept the land. Go ahead, I'll let you in.
Yeah, Mark Berry contacted me and asked if the city would be interested in accepting the property. It runs nearly from Patterson area all the way back behind the Eagles, and the railroad is willing to simply abandon it and deed the property over to the city if we're willing to accept it. Most recently, they were back there doing utility work and have gravel pathways. I know, Jeremy, you've talked with Mark as well, so if you want to, if you want to speak to it, but
About 5, 6 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, we had discussed in here in the Board of Works meeting about trails, future of trails, railroad right-of-ways that we were seeking. It was at the time that we're starting to work on a 5-year park plan. This stretch was one that everyone seemed interested in because of the jail property, the potential development that could go on out there, and just connecting some different areas. Board of Works and Council voted at that point to proceed with speaking with the railroad. At that time, it was on the sheriff's sale for back taxes. So I contacted Mark Murray, and he contacted the railroad, and the commissioners agreed to take it off of the tax sale at that time. With other things of more importance, Mark never really got back to it until now. The contractors were to the point that we're working with AEP that they were going to start taking the gravel and stuff back out. Contacted Dan, 4 or 5 months ago probably, said, hey, if we're interested in this, let's continue this conversation so they're not taking all that gravel and stuff back out. Even if we don't put a trail in there, we would still acquire the property. But flooding issues back in there got to be the neighborhood catch-all. There's all kinds of debris and garbage and everything else back in there that needs to be cleaned up. We have a lot of flooding issues on our property, our city property, that can be rectified by obtaining that railroad through there, that right-of-way through there, so we can put a storm sewer and stuff.
Drain it.
And also correct the drainage issues off of, I believe you guys won't be able to see that. We have an old abandoned alley that runs right along here that is where it holds a lot of the water and stuff. So it would make sense we still have it to obtain it, whether we do something with it in the future or not. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time to clean it up, so I'm not saying that, if we would get it, we would put a trail in there next week. It would just give us a avenue to have it for future connections and extensions.
Oh, yeah.
The railroad is very happy to get rid of it. Most times the railroads don't even know that they still own these until it's brought to their attention. They've contacted also AEP on it. AEP's fine. We just have to work through the easement and stuff so they obtain their easement that stays in there.
I think the railroads are large enough that they don't miss 4 and 5 acre swatches of things sometimes. But this is 2 different parcels. It's currently owned by U.S. Railroad Best Corp. JMS Building, and one of the parcels is 4.85 acres, and there's a more southern stretch that is another, I'm sorry, let me get it back up here, 1.7 acres owned by the same railroad company, but both of those are being proposed to be deeded over to the city.
Is there still tracks on it?
No.
Okay.
No, they put stone down to work on the electrical poles.
Okay.
The EP did.
Does it still get the ballast on it, the number 4 ballast on it? They didn't remove any stone, did they?
No.
You just put 53s on top again?
It's all still in. Wade Allen from the railroad has actually been preparing.
I'd take it.
Yeah.
I think it's smart as egg. It's a straight shot.
Wade Allen from the railroad has actually been preparing the legal, and I can get you his contact information if you guys do want to proceed with it. They're just wanting to be, they're not running from it, they're just, if you guys are interested, let's give it to you and to be done.
And other parcels that have been accepted by the city, especially to make it available for trail funding, generally is taken in the Parks and Rec Department. So it's City of Decatur Parks and Rec Department is how title would be taken if the city decides to pursue that.
And that would be for future grants. Okay.
Yeah, because what we ran into, Craig, is back at the nature preserve, it wasn't deeded that way,
Mm-hmm.
and your dad had to turn around and redeed it.
Just, I mean, it's a fairly quick fix
Yeah.
through a quick claim deed, but if we can get it in that format to begin with, it simplifies and takes a step out.
So I was just going to refer to Mark to how that one was deeded, or you can refer to it. That was the most current one that we've done.
You got any objections, Tyler?
It's probably a good idea, but it does take off half the property that I run my business out of.
Oh.
And there's a pond running through it too.
My only thing I've noticed in the past is if they own the property and you ever want to put a pipe underneath it, it's a rental fee. And I'd
Right.
say, if possible, we might as well go ahead and get it.
It's probably better for the city, so.
Okay, so we need a motion to move forward with.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Hey, Dan, so how do you want us to handle code enforcement back there?
Well, I think it's going to be a long process of cleaning it up back there, obviously, because the people are using it. I mean,
And that's kind of where we're at with it, I mean.
but we have an alley that's grown over, and then, like you said, there's much needed drainage that needs to go in there.
Understand that we're taking a beating on our end, we're getting after these people to clean stuff up, and they're hitting us, well, the city owns it, why aren't they taking care of it? That's the fight we're getting every day,
The alley portion of it?
yes. And, well, it went to sleep now, but if you look at that alley portion of it, that alley portion of it's only about 3 feet off that one house. I got that yard's only about 3
What?
feet wide.
I think the alley portion of it is owned by the city now.
It is.
That's not even including the railroad portion of the...
Well, I think what he's saying is they're telling those people to clean up, and then they're saying, what about that part that's yours? Why aren't you cleaning that up?
That's where we're getting a lot of. And we've got, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus here. This is just a situation we're running into. We've got a lot of alleys in town that, I don't know if they're abandoned or what, but just nobody seems to own it. It comes up on GIS as a public right of way. I don't know how accurate GIS is, but we have a list of 36 alleys that we're being told are being maintained. Are they ours? Have they been abandoned and given to the homeowners?
Right.
That's the arguments we keep getting into, and we don't have answers. Basically, what I'm looking for is an answer. I want to know what I can tell these people. I don't care what direction we go, I just need an answer.
Right.
And part of that, not being able to maintain that alley, is all the stuff that everybody's got stacked on up this personal wall. Exactly. There's a pool right in the middle of it. They've been allowed. There's a bunch of building materials laying all over it. We can't mow that with a personal belongings. There's mattresses that's laid out there for 5-6 years.
Well, it never used to be clean in the middle anyways until the last 2 years when AEP went in there. That was just a jungle,
Right.
basically,
I mean,
for the...
it's been like this for years. It's been allowed. I mean, you even got a fence on the one corner. It goes
Right.
clear across.
Right, but I think what you're getting at, you gave me a list of alleys a while back, and some of them, one was down by Classic Crimper. It's just grass, it doesn't look like an alley, and when they go to tell them to clean up, they say, well, that's not even ours, it's yours.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know what to do at that point.
Right. Maybe that's a time for another meeting, and you bring them up, and we start looking at them all, and then, I don't know, some of them are probably utility easements, or...
And I think a lot of them just over the years have just fallen through the cracks.
Right.
And new personnel moving around in the city,
Right.
this gets, somebody forgot about this one, somebody forgot about that one, and it's nobody's fault, it's just
Right.
something that happened.
Yeah, because some of them are just grassways through people's yard, and it's still considered a alley or right of way or whatever. But some people do a good job of keeping them clean.
Yeah, some do.
I mean, they know it's there, but they still clean it.
Right, yeah. And we've got several of those in town.
Right. Yeah, if you want to give some examples, then we can look at them each one and try to figure out what to do.
Shermeyer's a prime example. I mean, I don't know how to, it's been like this for so long.
Right. It's going to be a process, but I mean, like I said, in order for the guys to go down there and clean it up, all that stuff's going to have to be removed.
Right. All right, well,
Okay.
we'll bring it up later.
All right. You have anything else?
No.
Okay. That's all I have.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.